Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you've been having a beautiful day and start to your week. And I'm just really excited to be coming in doing this collective energy update for our group here on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and start by pulling a general energy card for today in this Friday check-in. Now, you guys know that I do these collective readings and energy updates every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would love for you to tune in on those times and days if you feel guided to do so. There is a live chat available during the premiere of those readings that is such a powerful, uplifting, high vibrational space. So I invite you all to join in for that if you haven't gotten a chance to yet. But also a huge thank you to all of you who are currently at this moment participating in the live chat. I am so appreciative to each and every one of you here. And I want to say as well that I've noticed lately that there have actually been a lot more specific kinds of downloads, words, messages coming through some of these readings. And I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I feel that many of you listening might actually be manifesting through more of those specific details. But of course, the sort of trade-off for that is that when we do get more specific in the readings, it does require this higher level of discernment because, of course, not every detail will necessarily connect to you personally. So I always recommend using your intuition to determine which messages are meant for you and which might be meant for others. Now, right away, speaking of specific messages from the word scramble, which I haven't used in a while, except in a reading I did a couple readings ago. But this is a tool I use to channel very specific words that sometimes come through the readings. So they won't be for everyone, but I do like to channel them as I'm feeling inspired and as those details come up. So I'm getting the letters ST and then a period. So this could stand for street. This also could stand for saint. I'm getting that it might actually be part of a city name, a location. These might be letters in someone's first or last name. There just might be some kind of significance here. I'm also getting the words young and choice. So I feel as though I might be picking up on a kind of residual dynamic that I'm getting, maybe romantic for someone, where you connected when you were younger, or if not younger necessarily in terms of earth years, maybe it wasn't that long ago, but it was the state of maturity that we're speaking about. So you may have connected with this person when they were in a different state of maturity, or maybe even when both of you were in a different state of maturity that we might think of as younger. And now this person is being presented with some kind of new choice. I'm hearing same energy, new choice. So it might be the same person, the same two people connecting, but now, because they're no longer in that younger emotional or mental state, they're more mature, they're able to make some kind of a new choice or decision here. Okay, so let's go ahead and discuss the general energy card that came up initially. And the general energy for today is the Page of Cups. Now, this can be a very dreamy kind of energy, and I'm seeing someone walking along a sidewalk on their own and the sun is shining, and it's like this beautiful day, this beautiful kind of scenescape environment around them. I'm not sure why I'm picking up on this image. Maybe this is a reminder from someone's guides to really immerse in the moment right now, to really allow yourself to, even if that, what I just described, isn't necessarily your particular specific physical environment, this message might be about just really immersing in wherever you are. I'm hearing the past and the future are not your friend at this moment. So what I'm getting from that message, I got the word breaker. This also could be a breaker, like when it comes to electricity, a breaker box, flipping the switch to reset the whole system after a storm. Maybe someone in a relationship, in a job, in their life is kind of flipping those switches, like resetting a whole system by throwing the breaker, throwing the brakes on something, allowing it to reset itself. Resetting back to your baseline energy through kind of allowing everything to power down for a time. Now, this could be things in your life, in a relationship. And I'm getting this message around flowing with that. If that's what you've been guided to do, if you felt guided to really throw the switch on something, to just shut things down, it's for a reason. And this is actually a powerful time of resetting. I'm getting a message of someone who might be ruminating on the past, thinking maybe things could have been different, and maybe I didn't have to throw the switch on everything. Maybe I didn't have to turn everything off or shut everything down or block this person or thing out, or whatever it was for you. This will apply differently for different people. But the message coming through here is, again, the past and the future are not your friend. Or in this case, ruminating on the past isn't helpful in this situation, because I'm hearing it's presenting you with false timelines. Interesting. I've never used that terminology before, but it's almost like ruminating on the past is making you think that there could have been these other timelines or other options available to you if you had done things differently. But these are false timelines, meaning you made exactly the right choice. You did exactly what you needed to do. You were guided by your intuition in those moments in the past down. I just keep getting it was like the only timeline, the only choice. Like you had to make a series of choices that, again, may have involved shutting something down or allowing something to reset itself. And you truly had no other choice than to do what you did. So there's no point regretting it. You made the only choices, and therefore the best choices that you could have in the moment. And anything else that your mind is now presenting you with is just a false timeline. It isn't really real. It wasn't really an option for you back then. Maybe there are options available to you now that weren't available to you then, and you wonder to yourself, well, why didn't I choose that pathway then? It's because it wasn't even available to you. It was a false timeline. False timelines becoming real. This is so quantum. I know we're talking at a really high level, but it's almost like you are looking back in the past thinking, why didn't I do this? What I'm being presented with now, 5 months ago, 5 years ago, a decade ago, whatever the case is, but it's because your energy at that time didn't actually grant you access to the timeline that you now have access to. Your options now are different because your perspective is different, because your energy is different. And that's a reflection of really deep shifts and changes that you made within yourself. I'm hearing it couldn't have been different because it wasn't, which I know is such a strange kind of way of thinking of it, but it's like the message that just keeps coming through is things had to happen the way that they did. And I know this sounds so strange and quantum and maybe a little bit vague, but I just feel in my heart that this is going to connect with many of you in a very personalized and specific way. So trust that connection that you're making within yourself. If you've been listening and a certain person or situation or something is coming to your mind, I'm getting the color red for some reason. Interesting. That also can resonate with the root chakra, which can be about allowing ourselves to stabilize. It can also be associated with like seeing red, like feeling really triggered or really angry. Maybe that's how you felt about a situation in the past and you really had to re-stabilize and ground yourself and find your center of peace before those new timelines would open up for you. Maybe that speaks to how you've seen other people around you being triggered in certain ways. Now, the affirmation on this Page of Cups card is, my imagination guides me to making my dreams a reality. I'm hearing one pathway is closed, but one pathway isn't quite ready. And we spoke in the last reading about how we'd fallen between timelines. Now, if me just saying that connected with you in some way, I'm getting it may have given someone chills or made them feel a certain type of way. That might be a sign from your own intuition that you are part of the collective here that has had that experience of, well, as we were wording it, falling in the gap between timelines. So the most recent reading that I did on this channel might resonate with you. So you can go back to the reading right before this one and you might get a message there. But what I'm really getting is one pathway has completely closed itself off, or if you don't like thinking of this as a pathway, I'm seeing a giraffe for some reason. You could think of this as a world that has closed itself off, that's no longer accessible to you. And yet, this new pathway isn't yet fully ready for you either. So this is that sensation of being between timelines, as we're saying. Because again, one pathway is closed off, but one isn't quite ready. So I'm going to see what else I can channel on this, but I also want to share a bit more of the messages and the energy coming through from this Page of Cups card, because I know we've only pulled one card, but there's such a significant energy coming through here. I'm getting that the color red for someone actually may have been ruby, maybe the name ruby, maybe rubies literally, or a red crystal or red stone of some kind. I'm also hearing something about stepping stones, one step at a time, taking the stepping stones one step at a time towards something. Again, the past and the future are not your friend. It's all about focusing on that next stepping stone forward. But with this card, there's like a new, fresh energy here that's very dreamy, but it feels like something that's physically familiar but energetically new. So this could be a person, a relationship, a passion, a career path, a hobby, something in your life that from a literal standpoint, you're very familiar with it. But energetically, it's now bringing this brand new, fresh, almost childlike energy to the table. And because of this new energy, the results that you experience as you allow yourself to follow out this dreamscape, to keep dreaming out into a vision of what this is or what this is going to become, as you allow the past here, the familiar past, to not hold you in bondage, but allow the energy to be new, I see that this could evolve into something truly beautiful and, in a way, entirely happily unexpected. You may be surprised how something that's so familiar, or someone who's so familiar from a physical standpoint, because of this new energy, can actually be so different because of that new energy that it now embodies. And I just keep getting a message as well about, it's like me as a reader remembering to acknowledge you and all of the work that you put into this. When I talk about this new energy, this isn't something that happened by magic or automatically, although everything is magic from one standpoint. You are absolutely magic, but I am being guided to really emphasize that this is a result of a lot of conscious effort and attention and focus that you have put into yourself and your energy and your healing and your inner work over an extended period of time. And that is not to be downplayed. This didn't happen automatically. In fact, most people will never transmute as quickly and effectively as you've been transmuting. Although I'm hearing from your perspective, it may feel as though it is very gradual, as though it's taking a very long time. And it's completely normal to feel that way. But know that in actuality, you are actually transmuting energy so much more quickly, exponentially faster. I'm seeing a bird fly by the window, a black bird of some kind. So maybe that's resonant for someone. Maybe that speaks to freedom, that your inner work, all of this energy work you've been doing on your life, on yourself, within yourself, this has been about coming into this state of freedom, and now you're flying, just like that bird that went by my window. I'm also hearing migrating. So for someone, you might not only be experiencing freedom and kind of soaring above, seeing your life from this higher level perspective, from this freer perspective like that bird, but also you might be migrating in some sense. So maybe you are choosing to physically move from one place to another. Maybe you're becoming more untethered from one specific physical place or space and developing more freedom. I heard something about remote. So maybe someone's choosing to work more remotely, or you're doing more of that within a career path or something along those lines. I got the name John and Jonathan for someone. Okay, so this card also says, joys leap from the cup with unexpected abandon. Do not be afraid of their suddenness, but ask yourself to be more loving, more open to emotions, and more accepting of your intuitions. As a person, the Page of Cups is a dreamer, someone who wears their heart on their sleeve. Because of their youthful spirit, the depth of their emotions can be beautiful or terrifying. Their sensitivity makes them feel all things deeply, and this can be both a blessing and a curse. Wow, that message in itself felt really powerful. I feel as though for many of you listening, certain circumstances of your life or things you've experienced within the world recently may have actually put you in this heightened state of really feeling your own extremes to a greater degree, meaning your ability to feel such happiness, such joy, such freedom to such a heightened extent, but equally on the other side of that coin, your ability to feel such deep grief and such mourning and sadness and heartbreak to the other end of the spectrum. So maybe someone has swung in both of those directions very recently, or maybe something that's occurred in your life has just caused you to reflect on this seeming duality of your nature. These two aspects of you are not a paradox. They actually align with one another, and you couldn't have one without the other, and they both serve a purpose. I'm getting this message of not judging that extreme where you feel the heaviness, the heartbreak, the grief, because there's a powerful transmutation going on in the experience of those heavier emotions that is not to be discounted or downplayed. Understanding the benefit and the role of allowing yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, whichever end of the spectrum it's on, will actually facilitate this process of transmutation. Whereas judging it will actually slow down the process because it's acting in resistance of this natural process of energetic transmutation that's trying to take place through you, through the feeling and the experience of these emotions, whether they do feel like that heaviness or the other extreme of that lightness and happiness. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull another card here. So what can I channel for our beautiful collective listening here? And here we have the King of Cups. Now, interestingly, if you look at these cards set side by side, it almost appears as though they're facing away from each other. So they're very close, but they don't see each other. So the Page of Cups, I'm really feeling like at this moment, this is you. And this also is giving me a very lonely kind of vibe at this time. But the thing is, you are turned facing a direction and you don't even realize your proximity to something that feels like it carries a lot of positive, beautiful energy. I'm hearing it's something you bump into without even seeing it first. It's like you bump into this before you even know it's there, because it's behind your back in this metaphor. Now, this could be for some of you I'm hearing something you've been trying to manifest that you've almost given up on, or even forgotten consciously that you're trying to manifest, or just really put it on the back burner. This definitely has that happy surprise kind of energy. For some of you, I'm getting this absolutely could be romantic. So this could be a person that in the quantum field, you're actually very close in proximity. You are very close to encountering each other physically or bumping into each other, as it came out in the wording of this reading. Yet you feel very far away from it. You don't even see it coming. And the affirmation on this card says, there are solutions that both my heart and my mind can agree on. I had to pause because I felt this wave of really emotional energy coming through this portion of the reading. And I heard a message about neither betraying your heart nor your mind, and not needing to betray your heart or your mind in order to accomplish something or to manifest something or to be in the right. Maybe there's a question of morality, like, am I supposed to settle for what looks right on the surface or to my mind consciously, but feels off to my heart, or vice versa? Maybe something you feel really connected to and you really desire and have a lot of emotion for isn't really showing up for you in that conscious 3D tangible way. And I'm getting this message of not compromising your heart or your mind, because they are both beautiful aspects of your being that are meant to be fulfilled and not betrayed. It's interesting that word betrayal is coming out here. Maybe recently you've been presented with moments or interactions where there is the choice, do I betray my mind or betray my heart in allowing this thing or moving towards this thing or giving into this thing? Or do I choose not to settle, not to abandon or betray myself, my heart, or my mind? I'm hearing the self here is defined as the heart and the mind, and that balance between the two. It's not an either or situation. You are not exclusively your heart or exclusively your mind. I'm getting a lot of messages as well about how this is almost a sort of example of the balance between your divine feminine representing the heart and the divine masculine representing the mind. And for a while in your past, you may have actually been guided to go into either or energy more deeply for a purpose. So, for example, there may have been a time where you were pushed deep into your heart space, and I'm hearing where you may have even felt like you were losing your mind because so many things didn't make conscious sense, but you were tapping in so deeply to your heart and really activating that heart space and feeling all your emotions so profoundly. I'm hearing during that moment in your life, you may have even felt like you were losing sense of time altogether. Like time really held no meaning. Your life may have held no structure. It may have felt like you were really drifting, and yet you were so connected to your art. I'm not sure why I'm getting the word art. Of course, that can be applied so many different ways. Maybe you were feeling really creatively, actively, really artistic, really in that dream mode, activating that high priestess, activating that divine feminine. Whereas at other points in your life, you may have been pushed really hard into your divine masculine. I am getting for many of you, it was actually your divine masculine that you may have been pushed into first. So you may have been pushed heavily into that through your upbringing. This push to be super disciplined, super structured, super measured with everything, only thinking logically from the mind. You may have really been pushed in this direction, either by influences around you or by your own self and what you thought was best for you at the time. But now I'm hearing that you've been pushed into both of those aspects, the divine feminine, the heart, and the divine masculine, the mind, at different points in time in your life. But now is not the time. At this point in time, you are not being pushed exclusively into either or. You are actually finding that middle ground, finding that balance. You are allowing yourself to be fulfilled in both the heart and the mind, and to make choices and connect with people who are aligning with both what your heart is speaking to you and what your mind is speaking to you or how you're logically thinking. This process feels very automatic. So although we're talking about it from a very kind of described sort of way, we're describing it in physical language and words, this is really just meant to be a confirmation of a process that has most likely been taking place automatically in your life. And in fact, there's been no way to resist it. I'm getting for a lot of you, even if you've wanted to go fully into your feminine at the expense of your masculine, or vice versa, to go fully into your masculine at the expense of your feminine, you've felt the resistance to that internally because your spirit, your soul is guiding you in accordance with your soul's blueprint during this next phase of your spirit's evolution here on earth, which is guiding you into that middle pathway. It's interesting that the concept of a middle path is coming out here again, because this was coming out really strongly in a previous reading as well. So I am going to go ahead and be channeling more from this card, but it's interesting because we started all of this with the King of Cups saying it's something that might be this sort of happy surprise, something you don't necessarily see coming, and yet it's aligned with your mind and your heart. So whatever this is, whether it's a relationship, a job, a business, I'm hearing it's something dominant, meaning something that's very much been something you've desired, something you've given a lot of thought to, something you visualized quite a bit. But again, you may have put it on the back burner or kind of just given up on it, like thrown your hands up and just said, universe, God, the divine, I'm just leaving this to you because I have no idea what to do here. And then all of a sudden, without even seeing it coming, you bump into this thing that actually aligns with both your heart and your mind. I'm hearing this is something that will not ask you to compromise your emotions, to push yourself into anything before you feel ready. Nothing about this will emotionally feel off to you. And that is your strongest signal that this is truly for you, that this is that thing that you've been manifesting and visualizing and desiring. You will know because it will not ask you to compromise your heart nor your mind. And it will not ask you, in terms of the heart space, to compromise on what you're feeling, to abandon yourself emotionally in any sense in order to connect with it. Okay, so let's see what else I can channel here. What else can I channel for all of the beautiful people listening? And of course, we have the Queen of Cups. What's very interesting is I think this is the first time ever in a reading that I've pulled 3 of the singular cup cards, the Page of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. And I feel this is not coincidental because we talked about you being the Page of Cups, but I feel that connecting with this King of Cups, it actually seems to help you relax into your own Queen of Cups energy. So in a sense, connecting with this thing or this person actually seems to help evolve you into this higher version of your own personal energy. It helps you to evolve from the Page of Cups, from that dream state where you're visualizing, where you're putting your intentions out into the universe, to where you're actually doing it and you're really embodying it, and it's showing up in physical manifestations in your life, and you're feeling increasingly confident in yourself. So whoever this person is, this King of Cups, or maybe for you, it's a life path, a career, a job, a place, I feel that just connecting with it energetically and physically boosts your sense of confidence and elevates you into more of your own Queen of Cups energy. I really love how this thing or this person connects with you because it actually seems to boost you to this level of greater confidence, greater self-love, greater groundedness, empowerment, but also into the manifestation of more physical aspects of what you consider to be your dream life. This really seems to be like something or someone that connects with you on your highest timeline. I'm hearing feel for it, don't think for it. that might be resonant for someone in some way. But it's interesting because it's almost as though the guidance here from someone's guides is when it comes to this thing, this person, this opportunity that you're manifesting, don't try to think your way into it. Although this is something that will align with your mind, it will be those things that you think that you've consciously decided that you want. It will connect with you in that tangible, conscious 3D way, but you're meant to be guided into it through your emotions, through your heart. Again, this is something that isn't going to ask you to compromise anything emotionally, but even beyond that, as we're channeling now at this point in the reading, beyond that, it's actually going to emotionally elevate you. It's naturally going to help you drop more into your heart, but also to feel more of a sense of natural confidence and empowerment in the world. It's going to help you connect more easily with your own highest timeline in a personal way. And I'm hearing something about recognition, like it's very important that you allow yourself to feel for this thing rather than thinking for it, recognizing it through how it boosts you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, how it facilitates the manifestation of your personal goals and dreams, how it connects with you from that very high vibrational frequency and assist you in manifesting your own personal highest timeline. And you'll know this because anytime you connect with the energy of this person, this opportunity, this thing, you'll notice it's almost like things just start going right in your world. The right people, things, and opportunities start showing up. This is the universe kind of directing you towards this person or pathway. And I just feel this message coming through of allowing yourself to listen for that in the heart space. So, wow, this is feeling like a really powerful place to bookmark this point in the reading. Now, I will be continuing the reading onto Patreon. So if you are feeling a resonance here and you'd like to get more details, pieces of information, and messages from the reading, then feel free to join me over on Patreon, which the link to that Patreon extended reading will be in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. But I am going to close this first reading here with one final quote from Rumi. You guys know in the last reading, I did a little exercise where I just kind of scrolled quickly through a lot of different Rumi quotes and then without looking just saw where I landed. So I'm actually going to do the same thing for this reading. And the Rumi quote today is, "Let the beauty of what you love be what you do." That really feels like a beautiful place to close off the reading. So as always, I feel so much gratitude to all of you who are here. These readings really are co-creation. So thank you for being such a powerful and important part of that process. If you do like the energy here and you'd like to connect more with this community, then of course I invite you to subscribe, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, where I post more energy updates, inspiration, and information. Of course, if you do want to continue with me now on Patreon, where I will be continuing on with this reading, then the link to do so is underneath the video. Otherwise, I would love to hear from you in the comments how these messages connected for you, if you have any thoughts to share with our community here. And I look forward to connecting with you again in Monday's reading.